Scorpio, come closer for a moment and really let these words land in your spirit, not just in your mind. A storm is forming around you, and it is not random. Between November 16th and 19th, 2025, you are entering a window of energy that will feel like the sky is shifting, like the air around you is charged with something you can't quite name. You may feel more restless, more alert, more sensitive to every word, every message, every little sign. That's not just anxiety. That's your soul recognizing that something is about to change. This is your wake-up call, your spiritual siren, your moment to decide whether you will sleepwalk through the storm or walk through it awake. If your eyes found this video on November 15th or in the days just after, trust this, you didn't stumble here. You were guided. You may have noticed it already. The strange heaviness just before bed, the flood of old memories that suddenly resurfaced, the dreams that feel too vivid to shrug off, the random what-if fears that appear out of nowhere. Or perhaps it's the opposite. A sudden calm in the middle of chaos, as if a small voice inside you keeps repeating, "Hold on, something is coming." Scorpio, those are not accidents. The universe rarely screams. It usually whispers. And right now you're being whispered to. You are being prepared. The storm is not just out there in circumstances, it is also inside, where your soul is quietly rearranging itself to receive what comes after. Because the truth is this: the miracle you've been praying for, hoping for, doubting, and then hoping for again does not arrive in a clear sky. It often arrives right after the shock. Before we step fully into this story, I want to say something important. From a place of deep respect for your path and for spiritual integrity, what you're about to hear is not a fixed guarantee, not a rigid prediction carved in stone, and not professional legal, financial, or medical advice. It is a narrative, a mirror, a symbolic map of a potential timeline offered for reflection, comfort, and awakening. Think of it as a thought experiment for the soul, a story whispered into the universe for the Scorpios who feel called to it. If this message resonates with you, if it stirs your intuition and makes you feel seen in a way ordinary words don't, then take what you need from it and let it strengthen your faith and discernment. If it doesn't, let it move past you like a cloud on a windy day without fear or resistance. Not every storm, not every story belongs to every soul. You are always responsible for your choices, your actions, and the way you walk your path. This message is here to support your inner power, not replace it. Take a deep breath now. In through the nose slowly, and out through the mouth. Feel your shoulders soften just a little as you exhale. You are safe in this moment. You are held in this moment. As we step into the energy of November 16th to 19th, imagine the sky above your life starting to darken, not with doom but with a kind of sacred electricity. On the surface, things might look normal, the same routines, the same faces, the same conversations. But beneath that, the deeper layers of reality are shifting. Uranus, the planet of sudden change and divine disruption, is like distant thunder in your chart. Mercury, the messenger, is like a flash of lightning, carrying sharp truths through words, messages, emails, or conversations. And the moon, your emotional mirror, is swelling through the hidden corridors of your heart, pulling up what you thought you had buried for good. In practical terms, this storm might show up as tension in a relationship you thought was fine, a surprising piece of news that knocks the air out of your chest for a moment, a sudden memory that brings tears you didn't expect, or a conflict that forces a decision you've been avoiding. It might be a job situation that suddenly feels unstable, a friend revealing a truth that changes how you see them, or a family matter you thought was settled suddenly opening again. For some of you, the storm will be loud and obvious. For others, it will be quiet but unmistakable. An inner quake that leaves you realizing, I can't keep pretending this is okay. Whatever form it takes, This storm is not here to punish you. It's here to show you what can no longer remain hidden. Scorpio, you are no stranger to intensity. You were born under a sign ruled by Pluto and Mars, death and rebirth, war and healing. You came into this life wired for transformation. That's why you feel things more deeply than most people. That's why you sense storms before they arrive. The universe never sends you into a storm unprepared. It sends you in with a blueprint already encoded in your soul. And during November 16th and 19th, that blueprint is being activated. Old patterns are going to reveal themselves in clearer light. Manipulation that once confused you will suddenly become obvious. Agreements you made with yourself when you were hurting, like, I have to stay small to be safe, or I have to overgive to be loved, will start to crack under the pressure of truth. This dangerous part of the storm isn't necessarily that something terrible will happen. It's that you might be tempted to go back to what almost destroyed you. The ex who shows up right when you're lonely. The opportunity that looks shiny, but comes with strings you recognize from the past. The habit you run to when you don't want to feel what you're feeling. The storm will bring these back not to torment you, but to ask, are you done with this cycle? Are you ready to choose differently? That's where staying awake becomes everything, because the most dangerous thing isn't the external chaos. It's falling asleep spiritually and sliding back into what you prayed to be freed from. Let's talk about the tarot energy around you in this window. Imagine the tower standing in your spread like a lightning-struck building. Most people fear the tower, but in truth, it's your ally. It doesn't blast away what is real. It tears down what is false, unstable, built on fear and pretending. The structure that falls could be a relationship role you've been playing, a belief like, I don't deserve better, or a job identity that no longer matches your soul. When the tower cracks, you may feel momentarily exposed, unsteady, even scared. But on the other side of that shock lies freedom. Right after the tower, I see the star shining, soft, quiet, luminous. This is the card of healing after chaos, of hope not as fantasy but as oxygen returning to lungs that forgot how to breathe fully. The miracle in your title lives here, not in avoiding the storm, but in who you become because you walked through it. Alongside these archetypes, the High Priestess appears cloaked in midnight blue, holding the scroll of your inner knowing. She doesn't yell, she doesn't argue, she simply invites you to trust what your body, your dreams, and your subtle senses are telling you. During November 16th to 19th, your intuition will speak louder than usual. A sentence someone says will land strangely. A contract will look right on paper, but feel wrong in your gut. A conversation will leave your spirit feeling drained instead of nourished. Do not dismiss these signals. The High Priestess is asking you to listen to your inner weather forecast as carefully as you listen to any reading. If something feels off, even if you can't logically explain why, you're allowed to slow down to say, I need time to think, to step back instead of rushing forward into the storm's center. There is also the Five of Swords energy swirling here, a reminder of power struggles, hidden resentment, or deceptive dynamics. This card doesn't show up to scare you. It shows up to say, look closely at where your energy is being stolen. Is someone in your life using guilt to keep you attached? Are you locked in a silent war with yourself, saying yes on the outside when your heart is screaming no on the inside? Are you replaying a conversation over and over, trying to prove your point to someone who is committed to misunderstanding you? The storm will highlight these imbalances. Your task is not to win the fight, but to walk away from any battle that requires you to abandon your peace to participate. Now let's bring this down into your daily reality. During this storm window, I want you to think like a spiritual sailor. You don't fight the ocean, you work with it. On November 16th to 19th, schedule as much stillness as you can. Even 10 minutes in the morning to breathe, journal, or pray can change the entire tone of your day. Light a candle, deep navy blue or soft white, and speak over yourself. I choose clarity. I choose protection. I choose to stay awake. If prayer is part of your path, Whisper a verse like Psalm 91:4. He will cover you with his feathers, and under his wings you will find refuge. Not as superstition, but as a way of reminding your nervous system that you are not alone in this. Be intentional with what you consume. If you know your mind is already spinning, this is not the weekend to overload yourself with other people's drama, endless bad news, or content that leaves you feeling more afraid than empowered. Feed your body grounding foods, warm, simple, nourishing. Drink water as a way of telling your cells, we are clearing, we are cleansing. We are not holding on to what harms us. Move your body gently. Stretch, walk, sway to music. Let the storm move through you instead of getting trapped inside your chest as panic or rage. When intense emotions rise, and they probably will, treat them like waves. Let them crest, breathe through them, and watch them recede. You are not your storm. You are the sky containing it. In relationships, this period may test your boundaries in ways that feel uncomfortably clear. Someone may ask for just one more chance. A family member may push an old button you thought you had deactivated. A co-worker may drop their responsibilities at your feet and expect you to pick everything up like you always have. This time, you are being asked to do something different. To say, I love you, but no. To say, I need time to think. To say, that doesn't feel right to me. Fire Scorpio, you have such a deep capacity to carry others that you sometimes forget you don't have to carry everything. The storm is here to show you where you've been emotionally overfunctioning, where you've been the silent backbone while your own needs went unmet. The miracle after the shock is not just an external blessing. It's the realization that you no longer have to live like that. When it comes to your finances and work, be extra cautious with impulsive decisions in this window. The storm energy can make quick opportunities look irresistible. Sign now or miss out. If you don't commit today, someone else will take it. Trust me, you don't need to read all the details. Those are red flags. Anything meant for you will respect your need for clarity. Real abundance doesn't come disguised as pressure. If something sounds too good to be true, let the storm pass before you decide. On the other hand, if an old plan finally collapses, a job that ends, a project that falls through, a door that shuts, try to remember, sometimes the universe has to pull you out of what you've outgrown because you would never leave on your own. The miracle may not show up on the same day the shock does, but it waits on the other side, shaped like a path you never would have considered while you were clinging to the familiar. Spiritually, this is a time to reclaim your authority over your own story. The storm might trigger old narratives like, bad things always happen to me, I can't trust anyone, or every time I open up, I get hurt. Notice those thoughts, but don't give them the final word. Instead, gently ask yourself, is this the full truth, or is this a wounded part of me speaking? You've survived storms before. You have proof in your own history that you can bend without breaking, that you can lose and still rise, that you can cry and still pour love into the world. The miracle arriving after this shock may not be something you can touch yet. It might be a new level of peace, a deeper trust in your intuition, or a relationship that feels lighter because you finally spoke your truth. The external changes will follow the internal shift. Energy moves first. Reality catches up. So, Scorpio, as we begin to close this message, I want to bring it back to you. Not the storm, not the planets, not the cards. You. Place your hand over your heart for a moment if you can. Feel that steady rhythm. That heartbeat is your proof that your story is not finished. That heartbeat has survived every ending, every disappointment, every dark night you thought would swallow you. During November 16th, 19, the world around you may wobble a bit. Secrets may surface, shadows may speak, but that heartbeat will remain. Your job is to stay connected to it, to breathe when everything in you wants to react, to pause before you go back to what broke you, to remember that you are allowed to choose differently now. If this message is resonating with you, if something in your chest feels both seen and challenged, I want you to anchor this energy with your own words. In the comments, write, "I walk through the storm awake. I am ready for the miracle after the shock." Not because typing it magically fixes everything, but because your voice matters. Your intention matters. When you speak alignment over your life, you participate in the miracle instead of just waiting for it. You tell the universe, "I am here. I am listening. I am willing." And finally, know this: you are not being punished, you are being prepared. The storm is not a verdict against you, it is a clearing for you. The shock is not the ending, it is the doorway. You, Scorpio, are not the victim of this energy. You are the alchemist of it. You turn pain into wisdom, confusion into discernment, and endings into beginnings. So when the thunder rolls, when the wind picks up, when the storm finally arrives between November 16th and 19th, remember what you heard here. Stay awake. Stay grounded. Stay in your heart. The miracle is already forming beyond what you can see, and when it arrives, you'll recognize it not just by how it looks, but by how deeply it honors the person you became in the middle of the storm.